This programming is brought to you in partnership with Morningstar Counseling and Society of Care. Both organizations provide mental health services and programming to sustain and strengthen the future of health and wellness for Indian Morningstar Counseling and Society of Care. Both organizations provide mental health services.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. We're glad to be hosting another amazing episode of Indigenous Voice. We have as always, some great programming ready for our viewers and our listeners today. And we're really excited to have some new guests with us and some returning guests as well. And as always, we have a schedule of what we're going to be talking about. And today's episode, we're going to focus on our Native youth and their education journey, and then balancing their academics along with their other responsibilities in their life. And we're going to look into different perspectives from the high school level, but also the college level. And we definitely want the two different realms to connect and talk to each other and just kind of give the feedback and conversations with that. And so that's what today's episode is going to be like. And of course, we have some coping skills we'll go over together, and then some brief updates, and also our latest psychoeducation flyers. And so, as always, we are excited to be here. We'll start with our introductions, and then we'll get into our questions. So, as always, my name is Macky Scott. I'm with the Morningstar Counseling, and I serve as the that is my old role. I'm sorry. I serve as the community outreach coordinator, and I am a member of the Winnebago tribe, and I'm really excited to be a part of this project and just to continue to have this amazing project and an outlet for our youth to come and voice their opinions and their views on mental health.
My name is Shailece Porter. I'm the youth coordinator with Society of Care and Morningstar Counseling, and I help serve the communities Watt Hill and Macy, and I am a part of the Omaha tribe of Nebraska.
My name is Charles Parker. I'm a sophomore at Wayne State College, majoring in graphic design, and I'm part of the Omaha tribe of Nebraska.
I am Dallas Lyons. I am a junior in Omaha Nation, and I am enrolled in the Omaha tribe.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tea Santasi. I am the current chairwoman of the Migai Niao Shingam Youth Council of the Omaha tribe. I go to school at Omaha Nation Public School, and I am happy to be here.
My name is Alexis Lyons. I am a second-year master's student at the University of Central Oklahoma, and I am part of the Omaha Nation tribe of Nebraska.
Nice. Thank you for introductions. We're really excited to have our new guests and returning guests. And just want to also highlight for this episode here, we're trying something different. We actually have a relative that isn't able to be here, but she's going to tune in on Zoom. So this is our first time having a virtual guest. We are excited. And of course, just bear with us if there's some technical difficulties when we are going through this show. Like I said, it's something new we're trying, and we always want to empower our Native youth and get those conversations any way possible we can. So let's get into our show today. Like I said, I want to come back to what the theme is. It's balancing our lives as Native American students. And so, with us in the middle of the academic year, we know tensions can go high, stress can go high, just kind of can get a little bit overwhelmed with some of our responsibilities as a adolescent, young adult, and also as a college student too, and also as a student athlete. So we want to get some more perspective and a deep dive into that and how our Native youth are managing their mental health and challenges through the academic realm there. So as always, we always want to get a perspective from our new guests on mental health. And this is just to more get like a idea of what you think mental health is and how that was like for you growing up. So I always encourage and remind our youth that there is no wrong or right answer in this section. It's just more to get a perspective of the perspective of mental health through our Native youth. And so we've had guests before where they didn't even know what mental health is or what that meant, and they just kind of guessed on what that meant to them. So, and even though they didn't know, that just kind of shows us that we grow and go through different things growing up, and we learn different types. Doesn't mean we're wrong or right. It just shows that there's more awareness and more opportunities to educate our Native youth on what's important about mental health and what that is. So just want to reassure everyone here and our guests that don't feel pressured that there is a right answer. It's just more feedback and having that good conversation. So as always with our new guests here, so Charles, you've been with us before, so you're kind of familiar with this. So feel free to hop in any items you want to. You're always you have some good input each time. But like I said, I encourage you if you want to add into anything. But for our 3 new guests here now, just feel free to hop in, which one you feel comfortable with, or just more feedback. So the first question we have is, how would you describe mental health? How would you describe mental health? You can think on it a little bit.
Well, how I describe mental health, how I see it is something that is always going to stick with us no matter what. It's a part of our brain. It's a part of us forever. And it's always something to know that's just going to stick with us throughout life. And that's why it's so important that we have to advocate for it, because mental health will always be there, either when you're struggling or even during your upbringings. Mm-hmm. So I see mental health as just something that's going to stay a part of you wherever you go.
Right. I like that. Nice. Thanks for sharing that.
I would describe mental health as how you view things, like how you view yourself, how you view tomorrow, how you view today. It's like how you view your friends, how your attitude is going to everything, and how your energy is going to be. That's how I would describe it.
Yeah, I like that. Well, one of the things my dad always says, every time, I might be frustrated or sad about something, he's always, son, how you start out the day, it's important. You have to have that good attitude for the day. It sets the day. You know what I mean? So that's what it reminds me of you sharing that, Dallas. So thanks for sharing that. All right. Alexis, do you have any weigh in on the question as well?
Yes. I would say that mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects everything you do throughout the day, whether it's like daily tasks, your relationships, friendships, and even like how you interact with your family. And you carry a lot of things with you every single day, and the way you react to other people and other things all have to deal with your mental health. So.
Yes, I agree with that. Thanks for sharing that. And I think it's interesting how like each of our guests had their own kind of little perspective on mental health. And that's what I really like when we have these conversations. And that's why I always stress that there's no right or wrong answer. And mental health, it's really vague. We can see it in different ways, and we take care of our mental health in different ways too. And I think we're going to learn that too through today's session. So excited to have more conversations on that. The next question is, so usually sometimes our guests, they're not familiar with mental health and what that looks like. But I think this question, you guys have an idea what that is. So we'll move to the next question after that. What is, how has mental health been like for you throughout your upbringing or your childhood? Like, was that something that was present, or were those words were you aware of those words growing up, or just feedback on what mental health was like for your upbringing?
Well, as a kid on the res, I actually had the most funniest childhood I couldn't express. I had no idea what mental health was until middle school. That is when pandemic hit. I was in 8th grade when it hit, and that's when kind of like everything felt like it was closing in on me. Like, that's when I realized I'm kind of by myself for now. Like, I'm with my mind, with myself, and I had no idea what was going to happen, because I remember just experiencing all these feelings in my mind. I remember just feeling this sudden hit of sadness, this sudden hit of just these feelings I've really never felt before. But like, it didn't really feel like how I felt with sadness. It just was I just felt lonely in my head. Mental health has been that way, I know, for a lot of people, especially with the pandemic, especially with our social distancing, our self-quarantined, couldn't go out we only had to go out for essentials. And before that, I was always on the Palo Trail. So this also like struck me hard, because now I just have to stay home. I can't
It's a big
travel.
shift, right?
Yeah. It was like just a huge shift, because now I can't go nowhere. I gotta stay home. My parents are always just told me, we're going to go out real quick. We need to get these. We need to get groceries. you guys stay home. It's kind of like we have no idea of how COVID's going to turn out. So honestly, it has affected me a lot in middle school and going on to high school.
Thanks for sharing that, and then thanks for being vulnerable with that too. I appreciate that.
For me, it was kind of hard during middle school, especially since I transferred schools and I was by myself, so I never wanted to go to school. And then that's whenever COVID hit, so I took the opportunity to work on myself, work on my mental health, and I didn't really mind it because I got to stay home. But that also prepared me for like next year during 8th grade, and it like my mental health was going up. Then I transferred in my freshman year, so it also went down. But now I'm pretty okay.
Huh? And Alexis, do you want to weigh in on that at all?
Yes. I would say that my mental health kind of was like affected by my environment. A lot of Native American students, they have generational trauma from our ancestors, and that comes down from all the trauma that they endured throughout their lifetime. And so like learning about that in school was very difficult. And then also what they're talking about, like with COVID and whatnot, like, I mean, you are alone and you have to deal with those mental health issues that come along with being alone and isolated and everything else. And also like playing sports and being in school and whatnot, like that affects everything as well, because you're not only thinking about your performance, but you're also thinking about school, and you're stressing about like your relationships outside of school and training and everything else. And so dealing with all of that can be a lot. And growing up on the reservation, we don't really have like therapists and things like that. Like a lot of our parents or grandparents, like they kind of want you to suck it up and not really express your emotions sometimes. And so not being able to have access to therapy and things like that can sometimes be detrimental to our mental health. And so finding things that you can use to kind of relieve those stresses and to express yourself in different ways is also like super, super helpful.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And, I liked how you said finding ways to deal with our stressors and how to manage our mental health. And we're definitely going to talk about some coping skills and self-care. That is really important when we talk about mental health. And so just want to keep our viewers and our listeners in mind, keep in mind that self-care is really important and it's fluid. One of our episodes focused on that. And like we said, self-care looks different for everyone. And most times people think, well, I can't afford self-care because then, I can't go to the spa, or I can't get my nails done, or I can't go to the movies. But, there's actually different techniques that you can do in the home and when you're alone. And we'll actually practice one of our techniques today at the end of the show as a group, just to kind of show what that technique looks like in coping skill. But yes, thanks for that feedback. Next, we'll focus on why do you think, we kind of touched on this too, but why do you think mental health is important? Why should we keep that at the forefront, or why should we be knowledgeable about it, or maybe we don't think it is important? So just feedback with that. Anybody can hop in where they want to.
Like I said, it's gonna be on the outlook of things. You think, like how you view tomorrow, how you're gonna view today, how you view the past, how you're gonna view on anybody you talk to, and how your attitude is going to things, and how you're gonna participate in stuff.
Just like what Dallas said, I agree with everything like that. And like I said before, mental health will stay with you. Will stay with you throughout your whole life. Like it's a psychological thing, and it won't go away. It will get better, but it won't go away, and it will just stick with you for the rest of your life, no matter what you do. And it's always just important to voice that, because I know people do feel like they're alone with everything going on with them. And we need to tell them, hey, you're not alone. People are here to listen. Like, this is just one tiny bit in your life that you still are going to get through.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah. I would say that mental health is like extremely important, just because like what they're talking about, like it affects you throughout daily life, it affects your mood, what you eat, your physical activity, your relationships, everything. And especially like your self-esteem, because if you don't think you're beautiful, if you don't have really high self-esteem, then that causes you to radiate negative energy into the world. And then I'm a firm believer in like the energy you put out into the world is like what you get back. And so if you're putting negative energy out into the world, I mean, it's just going to bring you down constantly every single day. And in today's generation, social media is huge, and I feel like seeing all these supermodels and all these TikTokers who are just fit or skinny or fit this certain like quota of like what's pretty, what's cool, what's in the now. It's not what you need to be basing yourself off of. And so I feel like mental health is kind of affected from social media quite a bit. And finding ways to communicate with others and to find those outlets to help source your feelings are very crucial for mental health. So.
Yes, I think you touched on some really important factors and points on that. So I appreciate you for sharing that, and just want to encourage all of our speakers here that it's okay to be vulnerable here, and we want to create a safe space too, but also remind you all that if you have an emotional reaction to something, just feel free to let us know. We can take a break or step away. We want to also respect you and your comfortability too. We don't want to force anything upon you as well, because I know some of these topics can get a little emotional and a little challenging at times, because we all come from different backgrounds and different experiences, and just want to validate our feelings and our experiences as well. So keep that in mind as well. Next, we are going to move into the next section of our show. And this part of the section, we want to focus on the mental health and the college aspect there, and what that looks like, and just get more in-depth view of that through a native lens there. So, and we're going to try something different with our show too. We want to, like I said before, we want the show to empower our youth and give them that opportunity to speak and talk. And it's more of they take kind of the lead on the show. And this episode, we want to try something new. And so what we're going to do is we have a set of questions that our high school students here will ask our college students. And so they're going to ask the questions there. And then, the college students, you can feel free to answer, hop in, and then, we'll just go there with those conversations. Okay, we'll get into our next section now, where we talk about balancing mental health and our academics, but in the college world. Before we get into that, I do want to have a small brief introduction to a new special guest here. So go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll start with the questions.
My name is Lupe Rodriguez. I'm a freshman at Southeast Community College in Lincoln, and I'm from the Santee Sioux Nation Reservation.
Okay. What is your okay, never mind. I'm getting ahead of myself. All right. Okay, great. Thanks for joining us. We always encourage new guests, and if you really love this and you want to come back, we always push you to come back. Like Charles, this is your third time, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. And we love that. We love that consistency. And it's kind of in Charles's passion and his career interests and things like that too. So that's why we try to empower youth. This is something they like to do and be involved. We push for that and encourage that. So, but yeah, moving forward. So go ahead, high school students, take it away with our questions, and we'll move forward.
Why not?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Where do you think go to college?
I go to the University of Central Oklahoma, down here in Oklahoma City, Edmond, Oklahoma.
I go to Wayne State College in Wayne, Nebraska.
My bad.
Okay.
I go to Southeast Community College in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Okay.
So, what are your guys' years in your college?
I'm a second year master's student right now. So.
I'm in my second year for my bachelor's.
I'm in my first year. I'm actually in academic transfer right now, so.
Okay. Nice. Okay.
What are your three majors? What are your majors?
My major is in athletic training. If you don't know what athletic training is, it's kind of like the medical coverage for sports. So.
I major in graphic design.
I'm gonna major in sonography.
Nice. Okay. And so these next few questions. So now that we kind of have an idea where each of our guests are, we just want to get more perspective on your journey in college and what that looks like. And so go ahead and we'll start with the remaining questions here.
So I know like a lot of Indigenous kids aren't really motivated right now to go to college. So, but what motivated you guys? Like, what made you think I want to go to college? I want to get a degree. I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Should I go first?
It's fine. Yeah, there's no order in this time. So like you can think about it for a little bit. Also, I just want our guests to know like we might shoot these questions out, but don't think, okay, I gotta answer the second they're done talking. You can like just think about it and then express yourself. But yeah, all three of you just feel free to jump in wherever. There's no order for this. Like I said, it's just more informal conversation.
Okay. I'll go first, I guess.
Okay.
I guess what motivates me to go to college is that I don't know, like it opens a lot more opportunities just for like to whatever career you want to do and stuff. And and another thing is just like I'm a first generation college student, so it's like it's kind of like how nice would it sound to be like, you know, I'm the first in my family to like get a degree in college, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like those are like my two main motivations to just like building a career for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that my motivation to go to college was kind of the same thing as Charles's. Just because like I am a first generation college student, and I wanted to open more doors and more opportunities for myself, because growing up in a small town, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do. There's only so many jobs, and I wanted to also go out and like explore the world and be able to travel and enjoy what I do. And so that was a very big like motivating factor for me to go to college. And I also wanted to play basketball in college and not have to pay for it. So that was also very much a reason why I wanted to go to college.
Okay. Lupe, do you have anything or no? Okay, that's fine. Like I said, just feel free to jump in wherever you want to. Don't have to feel like you have to answer all these questions, just to get a perspective. And okay, yeah, we can move on to the next question.
Charles already answered the question of the first generation student, but are you or Alexis one of the first generation students?
I'm not.
Yes, I am.
Okay, awesome. Well, it's good to see that we have some first generation students, and I know that that's even challenging itself. I'm also a first generation student too, so I know the challenges of that. Okay, we move on to the next question then.
So this is actually a question I have for my own, but how did you guys pick your majors? Like, what made you kind of lean towards on what you're majoring in right now? Like the theme of today, mental health, did that have a part in picking your majors? Is it something that you do that you really like, or like does it soothe your mental health?
So last year, my freshman year of college, I was a networking and cybersecurity major. So I had to do with like the IT stuff, like technology. And I only started to do that for like just because it pays really good, but I was miserable during the classes. So I switched to graphic design in a way of just like, I guess, expanding my like artistry, because I'm a music guy, but I don't want to go to college for music. So it's just, I don't know, why not just learn how to like make art, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I feel like you're leveraging your creativity side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have a similar experience for that. I'll share that at the end. So yeah, I love that question though. Like I said, we kind of have an idea of questions we want to answer here, but we encourage our guests to go off script. If there's a question they want to answer or want to know, that I encourage them to ask that. Alexis, do you have anything on that?
Yeah. I would say like growing up, like as a child, I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. I don't know why, but that was one thing that I really wanted to do. And then once I got to college, I was like, I do not want to go to school for 11 years. And so that kind of like led me towards like more along the sports realm, because I mean, I enjoy watching sports. I love being around athletes. And being in college, like you're around all kinds of different professions, and all the prereqs that I had to take for like going into like medical school was like pretty much like anatomy, physiology, and things like that. And I was like, oh, I don't enjoy doing this, like I don't want to take physics, I don't want to take chemistry, like I'm not really great with numbers, so I was like, you know what, I could do something in between the two of them, since I love sports and I also kind of like the medical aspect of it. And so I was like, I can combine the two with athletic training. So I was like, maybe I can just settle on that. So that was kind of my route to choosing what I wanted my major to be.
Okay. And then Lupe, did you have anything you want to add to that?
For me, it was always like, I thought it was so cool to like, see the pictures or whatever. And I don't know, it's just, I always wanted to do something like in the medical field, kind of. So I thought this was pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah. All great perspectives. I like that. And just kind of sharing my own perspective with this. So Charles, I was in a similar situation with you actually this last year and a half. So I graduated from Little Priest Tribal College in 2014 with my associate's degree. And then after that, I was like, well, I don't know if I want to go to my bachelor's. I didn't think it was possible. I think it would be too hard. Then I decided to go to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln for their business management program, and was going through that. And the management classes I liked, and that was like more working with people and those relationships. And that's the part I liked. But when it came to the math, the accounting, the economics, I hated those classes. And it was just so frustrating and kind of bummed me out. And so this last year and a half, I just made a decision where I'm like, I'm not happy here. I'm not happy at this college. I'm not happy at this program. And when I was younger, I loved the idea of working with people and even thought about being a counselor or a teacher. And, especially working with Morningstar Counseling, that definitely opened my eyes to working in a mental health field. So I transferred and switched my major to human services, a human service degree. And then I'd plan to go for my master's in counseling to be able to do, to be a clinical counselor, so be able to meet with people and be a therapist and counselor and things like that. And ever since I switched over, like I love these classes. I am in tune with it and I really love it. So definitely like I agree with you, like finding something you like rather than something like you said, it's gonna make a lot of money and things like that. Because that's kind of my mindset was too. Like if you have a business management degree, you can kind of go anywhere with that. But I wasn't really happy with it. So glad you kind of thought about that and experienced that, sooner than I did, so that's good that you're on the right track with that. We can move on to the next question.
I know I think Lupe as a cheerleader in Santee and Charles at the track meet in Homer, but do you guys still do sports or clubs in college?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't know, like I'm part of like the only club I'm really part of in Wayne is like the 8-ball pool club. But like honestly, recently I've been thinking about like doing intramural basketball because it's just like, I don't know, like ever since COVID happened, like my love for basketball kind of died out because I was out of shape and I didn't want to go through all that conditioning and all that stuff. It was just me being lazy, to be honest.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about being part of the basketball team, maybe, but that's not really like my top priority right now.
Okay. And Alexis, are you involved in any kind of club sports or groups right now?
Right now, I'm a part of like the athletic training society for our university. But I'm a little bit old. Like I had knee surgery. I don't think I can get up and down the court like I used to. So that's
Okay. And the reason why we asked this question too is just to kind of get an idea of what our students, their responsibilities and the groups that they have. So just to give us an idea of how they're balancing all that in their lives. And so, yeah. So we can move to the next question.
Okay, so I know with college there's like a lot of fun things that comes with it, a lot of benefits, but what are challenges you guys face? Like what are the hardships that you guys face while in your college years?
I guess being like one of the few natives at Wayne State, it's like even then, even in my second year, I still kind of like struggle with being like feeling a little like isolated since it's predominantly white, like a predominantly white school. So it's like it's more just finding friends and stuff, because like it's a big party school. A lot of people party, and I'm just not part of that. So it's just like it's more of just that. And for me, like I'm late to almost everything, so it's like just showing up for classes too.
Indian time.
Yeah.
Like, man.
And on Indian time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you now, when you get older, it gets worse. Nah.
Yep.
I kind of agree with what he said about like being the only person on campus who's like of Native American descent. I feel like you get kind of like an imposter syndrome, just because you're around everybody. Like when you go home, you're around people who look like you, who act like you, who know the same traditions as you and have the same belief system. And then when you go to these universities and the population of Native Americans is like, say, less than like 2%, it's a lot to take in and to like adapt to, because you don't know how to interact with some of these people, and you feel like you're not good enough, or you don't fit in, or you can't really relate to them because you didn't grow up with those people in those different populations. And so I'd say imposter syndrome was a big thing that I had to overcome.
Alexis, can you give our listeners and our viewers maybe a definition of what you would consider imposter syndrome?
I would say imposter syndrome is being a feeling of like a sense of like, how would you describe, like not fitting in, not like alienating yourself from everybody else because you don't think that you're going to fit the roles that everybody else has set before them, and not really, I guess, affiliating yourself with certain like the regular community, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to give our viewers and listeners an idea of imposter syndrome, because I know some of these terms people might not be familiar with them. And yeah. Lupe, do you have anything to add to that?
I think the challenges that I face is trying to find time after work to do my homework and get my schoolwork done. Because since I go to a community college, they don't have like dorms where I'm at. So I had to get an apartment and work full time. And when I get home, I'm like so exhausted. So I just try to find motivation to do my work after like a long day of work.
Yeah. Great perspective on each of those. And each of those are, validating challenges, and it's individualized for each of you. And it's, it's interesting to hear that from different perspectives, so thanks for sharing that.
I know you guys face mental talent challenges in high school, but is it any different in college? Do you guys face any?
I don't know. It's like, I feel like it's a little different than in high school, especially like my situation, like, going through like imposter syndrome, all that stuff, where it's like, I don't know, like outside influences kind of like really affected my mental health, like that, affected my college performance. And I didn't really cope with that healthily. So I'm still kind of like working to improve on that. But I don't know, lately it's just, I've been going to therapy and stuff, and it's been helping me, ever since, I would have a long week, and instead of like coping with all of that stress like unhealthily, I just, release it properly, talking to a professional and stuff, to put it briefly.
Can you repeat the question?
I know you might have faced mental health challenges inside high school, but is it any different in college, or do you have any challenges?
I would say in high school, you kind of grow up knowing everybody who's going to the same school as you. And so you know everybody who's going to be in the same classes as you or be at lunch. And so going to college, you're kind of like alone unless you go with like people who you know. You kind of have to, you're literally like out there alone. And so who you talk to and who you let into your life is kind of like up to you. I would say like making friends was a little challenging just because like I'm kind of shy and like I don't really like talking to people sometimes. And so that was very challenging in that aspect, just because like my mental health was like, oh, you know, maybe they won't like me, like kind of associating what I said before about imposter syndrome, and also like all the stresses of like, where do I need to go to get to this class, or where do I go to go get therapy, or where's the library? Like just like navigating the whole like university setting was just very, very challenging, and I felt like I was alone most of the time. So that was very, very, that took its toll on my mental health, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. I love the different views on that. I think, you know, when we ask the question, like, you know, why do we think mental health is important? Because it is important to me, because just kind of like what, you know, our guests are saying is, you know, when we're leaving high school, college is kind of seem like a really fun time, and it's going to be, you know, a new chapter in your life and new experiences, which is amazing and great. But one thing that I think about is that trauma, that healing, or the unhealing wounds that you had in high school and your childhood, that doesn't go away when you go into college, you know? So it's important that you know the unhealing and the wounds that you have that you need to heal from. And, you know, like Alexis and Charles is sharing here, that when you go to college, it is isolating at times, and you do feel alienated and you're by yourself, and you don't have your family there that we usually have around us. You know, we have, you know, phone calls and things like that, but it's just not as the same as being close to home. And so I think it's really important that we recognize the traumas that we have and the unhealed wounds that we have, because then we can work on those and address those. And if we don't, I feel like sometimes the college realm, they can amplify those feelings. Those amplify the feelings of depression or anxiety, and it can make your mental health even worse. So, you know, that's something I want us to keep in mind too, is always having that continuous work on ourselves is important for our mental health. But we can go to the next item too.
Okay, so with the mental health question, and the mental health challenges that you guys face in college, what do you guys do for yourself for self-care? Like, how do you just support yourself and your mental health through self-care? Like, what do you do?
So for me, whenever I'm feeling stressed, like about like homework or just anything else outside of, you know, that doesn't have to do with school or anything, I usually just kind of take some time for myself and just, I don't know, listen to music, watch some shows that I like sometimes. And of course, I go to therapy every time I come home, you know, for the weekend and stuff. So that's, yeah, it's mostly like just music, video games, and like therapy for me.
Things that I would do for like self-care were, I mean, I go to the gym like 4 or 5 times a week just to de-stress myself. I also do art. I love creating new forms of art. Like, I don't know if you can see in the background, but I do little pieces of artwork that I like to hang up all over the house. Nice. And I also enjoy like hiking and walking and like just going out and enjoying nature, just because sometimes I just want to clear my head. And so it's very nice to not have to see other people or look at a book or be on my phone for a long period of time. So, but also like watching TVs and movies. One big thing that I probably struggle with is shopping. Like, I love to go shopping.
My bad. But for me, I think it's like when I need a break, I need to go like hang out with my friends or just sleep. I sleep a lot.
Yeah, well, that's good. Like I said, self-care is fluid. It looks different for everybody. Sleep is really important. If we're not getting enough sleep, going outside and just reflect on nature, taking those walks, and then just doing some of the things that we are passionate about, like watching movies and video games and things like that. So I'm glad to see each of you have an idea of what your self-care looks like, and, you know, when you're feeling overwhelmed, what do you do with that? So That leads into our next question here about stress.
What ways did you cope with stress that was healthy?
I feel like I already answered the question, but yeah, it's mostly just listening to music, making music, playing video games with my friends who I don't get to see every day. And yeah, I mean, and then yeah, I do go to the gym. I forgot to say that, but yeah, those are just the ways I cope with stress, I guess.
And yeah, that is a similar question. I guess it was just kind of see we can get more discussion on that. So we can push forward to the next question there.
So how is it like for everyone that does extracurriculars or clubs? How does it how do you balance it with your homework, with your work at college?
I don't know, like I'll admit that like I'm not the best at like scheduling at all and all that stuff, to the point where I kind of use the resources at my campus to kind of build like a block schedule, like block certain times out for like, okay, I need to do this. Like I'm kind of like a visual guy, so when I see like what I need to do, I go ahead and do it instead of like mentally like, you know, logging in and stuff. So yeah.
I'll have like a calendar like on my iPhone or my iPad, and I'll just like put in what I need to do for my assignments throughout the and it's kind of difficult because I mean sometimes you're in class and then sometimes you have to go find food to eat for the next class, and that's a little challenging. So like sometimes I like to meal prep to help keep me in track, because sometimes when in college you don't want to cook, and so you go out and go to some McDonald's or some Chick-fil-A or whatever. So like meal prepping has kind of like helped me keep that balance, and also like get me to eat healthier so that I don't gain that, what would you say, like freshman 15.
Some of us are still gaining that freshman 15, and we haven't been a freshman for a long time. Alexis, with you more on this question too. So like Lupe kind of shared a little bit on it, and I've kind of had experience with it too, and I'm just curious to see what your feedback is on it. But you know, did you have, even in undergrad, like even now, like did you have nights where, you know, just had a long day with responsibilities but you know you have that homework that's due, and you're just tired, and you know maybe you're frustrated, and you know you might have moments of feeling like defeated or giving up? Did you ever experience those moments? And if you did, like what pushed you to like, okay, I need to get this done and complete it? Have you experienced those moments? And when you did, what pushed you to know that you had to get that done and you completed it?
Yeah. I definitely experienced those moments. I'm a big procrastinator. Like I'll stay up till like 12 o'clock, which is not healthy, or like 2 a.m. and like finish assignments. Like I'm a bad procrastinator. But one thing that I did learn over the years was just kind of like making sure that you set time aside to do that. Because being on your phone scrolling on TikTok for hours, that's not going to get anything done. And so setting aside that time to get that finished, and sometimes alienating yourself from your friends to do those assignments or quizzes or even study for those exams is like really important, especially if education is like what you're there to do, and you're paying thousands of dollars to be at this university to take these classes and to get these grades. Like I'm not going to waste my money. And so I have to like set aside that time. But it is very challenging, and kind of what I like what I said before, like I developed like a calendar that like I have to get this done at this time. And so like I'll set alarms to do that as well. So that's been very helpful for me. And also like having friends in the class who remind you to do assignments, that's very beneficial. So
yeah, thanks for that feedback. And I just asked that because there was a moment that I experienced this week with that. It was a long week. So at Morningstar Counseling, we provide a training called Youth Mental Health First Aid Training, and it just teaches adults to see warning signs of someone that's experiencing a mental health challenge and what do they do in that situation. So we had back-to-back trainings this week, training people, facilitating that. And then on top of that, I teach another class. And at a long day and a long week, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go home and relax. But then I'm like, oh dang, I have a discussion post due and I have a quiz due, and I'm just sitting there like, how do I do this? Am I going to get this done? And just kind of that moment of reflection, like, man, this is just too much. Like, how do people do this? But then just kind of sat there, did some breathing exercises and just kind of looked at the pros and the cons and the sacrifices and how to pay off in the future. So sometimes that's kind of like where has to come, where we self-reflect and try to tell ourselves like, the sacrifice will pay for the future. And so definitely that helped me understand that. And also I kind of keep pictures by my desk too of my mom and my dad. And there's a picture of me as a little kid with my mom and my dad, and just kind of sharing some personal information. But both my parents, they're they suffered with substance abuse, and my mother, she passed away 2 years from it, but my dad, he's 5 years sober now. And sometimes I take those pictures and reflect on them, and and tell myself I'm doing this for that that little boy that's in that picture that had a hard childhood and just went through a tough time, and I'm doing this for that kid because when I have these skills and this knowledge, I can help other families that might be in a situation so that their younger ones won't have to experience that or go through some of the challenging times that I did growing up as an adult or as a kid. And so those are some of the reminders that I keep close by, and that's something I encourage our Native youth here, is just kind of self-reflect and find something that pushes you and motivates you. And sometimes a simple picture, or Charles, I know you mentioned you listen to a song or something, but find that one piece of motivation that's going to push you, and it looks different for everybody, but just wanted to share that piece too.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's one thing that I didn't touch on, was like setting those small goals for an ultimate goal. And that's kind of why I didn't really say this earlier, but I also journal quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so like going back and looking at different journal entries that you do, and that like seeing at a time where like you were struggling, or that you wanted to set goals, or something traumatic could come up and you never wanted to be in that position again.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to reflect back on that and see like why you're here and why you're pushing forward for an education, for a better life and better opportunities. And being able to reflect back and forth is very beneficial, and it also helps like motivate you to continue or to finish what you're doing. So,
right.
Really.
Yeah, thanks for that. I'll go to the next question.
This was also very similar to the last question. How did you balance your college life with your adult responsibilities?
I guess just scheduling and stuff mostly. It's just the same answer as I put before.
Okay.
I feel like even as an adult, you're gonna struggle to balance everything out, especially like paying bills, cooking, working, cleaning, things like that. And time management and setting those goals are one thing that helps, but I feel like as an adult, you just feel like you're lost a lot of the time. But everything's like a learning experience. So take it as you go and try to do the best you can, is what I would say.
Mm. Okay. So we can move to the next question.
So, what do you think a person needs to be successful in college?
Just discipline, like a lot of self-discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can feel like super tired and just you feel like you don't even want to do like what you need to do, but you just have to get yourself up sometimes and just force yourself to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as it is,
I would say what a person needs to be successful in college is having that support system for those days that you are down, engaging with your friends and your family and being able to communicate with them and talk. And then, like I said before, like setting those small goals for an ultimate goal, just so that you stay motivated, will help you be very successful in college.
Okay, nice. Thanks for that. Like I said, I love the different perspectives and sharing the different views of how we manage our stress and those different responsibilities. The next is kind of more thinking forward, like how do you get back to your community? How do you who supports you, or what does your support look like, if it was a person, and then finally, some words of encouragement for our Native youth here. But go ahead and go with the next question.
How do you see yourself contributing to your community?
I guess just whatever whatever I'm able to do, whether it's like professionally or even within my music and all that stuff. I hope like someday I can like become successful within that and somehow try to invest that into like our tribe or like family or loved ones and all that stuff, or like knowing that where I'm from, Walt Hill is not really like the prettiest town, and it's a lot of just abandoned houses and buildings and stuff. And I don't know, I just hope in the far future I can maybe like I don't know, make the town look a little prettier at least. All those abandoned buildings in Main Street, I can maybe there can be a lot more things going on within that.
I would say being able to use my story to help encourage others to pursue whatever they choose to do, whether or not it's like some far-fetched dream or trying new things that somebody before you hasn't done before. And instead of being like imposed by society's stereotypes of like the traditional Native American, I want to be able to live out those dreams that I have and be able to help our youth recognize that you can turn pain into power, and also be able to give back to my community once I achieve my goals and maybe start like a gym or be able to help with my education and my experience working hopefully in professional sports. So
my bad. For me, I know the clinic, they have like a contract or something with Avera to come down, because I know they have like an OB or something for women and stuff. And I also want to travel back and forth from Lincoln to Santee just to like visit and work, and so I don't know, I just hope that I can one day help contribute my work to help the community out, whatever they need.
Okay. What next question?
So through your whole entire college life, I know it's hard. I know there are your path to success, but also the path to failure to your success. But during these like hardships, during these challenges that you guys are facing through college, who is your main support? Like, who can you picture as your main inspiration to why you guys keep going?
It's most of my younger siblings. I have 3 younger siblings that that I stay with, and I don't know, I guess I just want to be some sort of a role model, and like they can follow my footsteps and they're going into college, and just become successful in whatever they want to do. And college may not be for everyone, but at least give it a try. Yeah, that's how I usually look at it, as like my main inspiration, my main support, just my family.
I would say that my inspiration was my older sister who passed in 2014. I feel like when she passed away, I kind of took that like leading role with my siblings, and so we lost somebody who was more like a role model and who kind of pushed everybody else forward. And so taking on that role was very, very challenging, but being able to set the path and be able to be that guidance for my younger siblings was one thing that really inspired me to continue and to push forward and create my own path, and kind of look back and be able to pull my other younger siblings up and be like a really, really large role model in their life. So
I think for me is my mom's always the number one supporter for me, and I have foster siblings that my mom has or whatever, and they came to us to have a better life, and I want to show them that you can leave your community and get an education and come back anytime you want. The Santee's always going to be there. So I just want them to know that it's okay to go to college, to leave Santee. You just got to have the right mindset to leave.
Yeah, thanks for that. So we will have one more question here, and then we will go into a brief commercial break by our sponsors, and then we'll come back with our second session of this, where we have the perspective from the high schoolers, and then we'll have the college students kind of engage them and have those questions. So go ahead and finish with the last question.
Do you have any words of encouragement or wisdom for Native students that are interested in going to college?
How do I say this? Do not take your mental health for granted. Like, it's simple as that. If you have any unchecked trauma or whatever, just try to find healthy ways to cope with whatever you're going through. And just like I said, do not take your mental health for granted, even if you think like it's not that big of a deal. You could be going through something like small, or like it doesn't matter what you're going through. Just at least keep your mental health in check before like you do anything like really like big, or like any big changes in your life, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Just whatever.
I would say just know that mistakes are going to happen, and that you learn from like trial and error, and you're not going to always succeed the first time you try something, and to like always look back and enjoy the little things, and to be proud of yourself because you're a beautiful Indigenous Native, and nobody else in the world can do what you do, and you have talents and skills and knowledge and abilities that others only wish they could have.
Okay, thank you for that. I do want to open this opportunity up, or this kind of this part here for our high schoolers here. I know there was a set of questions that we were following, and one of you did ask one that wasn't on here. Do you have any questions for our college students that maybe something came up that you want to know a little bit more about? I just want to offer that opportunity to you. If you don't, that's fine too. I don't want to stress you out or make you feel like you have to, but just want to offer that opportunity for the both of you.
I do have a question, but I don't know how to word it. So,
and it could be a conversation. Just go ahead and try the best. There's no judgment here, and we'll try to help you.
Did you guys have like a switch of majors, and how long did it take you to like find out like when you switched them?
Yeah. I switched my major like March of my freshman year, so like literally just last March, and I switched to graphic design. And when I literally like the first week I started this school year back in August, I was so close to changing my major already because I didn't think I wanted to do graphic design, but it's so much better than doing like being in a marching band for me, because I'm just like I don't want to do that. But yeah.
Yes, I did change my major. Once I graduated with my bachelor's, I thought I wanted to do like physical therapy or occupational therapy, and then eventually like I like weighed out the pros and cons, and I didn't want to go to school for an extra 3 years, and so I kind of settled with athletic training because I wanted to combine the medical aspect of what I wanted to do in sports and be in the practices during the games, and be somebody they can lean on who, if they were having like a mental health issue or just wanting somebody to talk to. And so that's kind of me, how I kind of switched my majors from PT to AT.
Okay. I'll share a little bit about me. So like I said, I switched my major once too. Don't be like me, where I was like 2 years into my business management degree, and my mindset was just push through, get it done. Mm-hmm. But now that I'm in a field that I really love and have a passion for, it doesn't, like I said, it does get stressful just because you have to do these homework and assignments. That's just kind of the stress that comes with being a college student. But I guess the way I could word it is I'd rather stress over knowing stuff that I enjoy and really interested in than a business degree where I'm stressed about stuff where I'm not interested, it's almost like pulling teeth, and I just have to learn it to get the homework done. So find something that you really like, and try to gravitate to that. And even in high school, try to find experiences, maybe some camps, student groups, or some programs that are open for you to explore and see those types of things. Because then I feel like it's not really fair for us adults and older ones to expect especially the high schoolers to have an idea what they want to do their senior year and go into college. And it's not uncommon for people to switch their majors, because I feel like that's why I said I feel like it's an unrealistic expectation to have you to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life, because you're still young yet, and what's good about college too is you're going to figure out who you are as a person, what you want to do, your strengths, your limits, your weaknesses. And so us having that expectation, okay, graduation of high school, what career you want to go to, is unrealistic and not fair. So that's why I always push for you to explore. And I'm always open to our students take a year off if you want to, and explore a little bit and kind of get that grounding, because definitely when you go to college, it's a different realm. And some of us don't have those supports that other students might have. And getting a grounding of who you are, that'll definitely help you in a college area. But yeah, so like I said, just try to explore and find what you like. You can probably take some career assessments and see what your strengths are, your values, and kind of gravitate towards that too. And one thing for me too, actually I switched majors twice. I forgot the first time. So I went to film school in Minneapolis for a year because I love films. I love watching movies, and made a film myself. And that was something I wanted to do, but I just didn't see myself making a career out of that. So that I switched that too. So I kind of had these different experiences, but now I know where I'm at. And if you do switch, your major, that's fine too. It's just going to take a little bit longer, but find something that you love and enjoy. I guess that's my ending message for you. Any other questions?
This one's kind of personal. So it's not like personal, but it's like, did you get into the college you was your top choice?
So I was accepted by 4 colleges. It was Wayne, UNL, UNO, and USD in South Dakota. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of I don't know, I feel like I would have done better if I just probably went to the other colleges, but I went to Wayne because they were the first college that accepted me. Literally right away, September of my senior year of high school, I got accepted, and I was like, oh, this is such a big college. When you're there, it's just I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah, it's weird. I used to go to Wayne every year in high school for Quiz Bowl, and I'd be there, and I'm like, I can't wait to be here for college. And then now that I'm there, I'm like, it's not as big and magical and whimsical as you
thought it was. Yeah. So would you say don't hop on your first offer from a college? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. It's more just really kind of weigh your options and stuff.
Okay.
You were the third person that told me that said you got accepted to UNL. Do you think you would have done better at UNL?
Who knows? I don't know. I honestly do not know.
So, okay. So my perspective, and Alexis, I'll share, and if you want to hop in, you can, and you too, Lupe. So for me, like I said, I graduated. So this is how old I am. Don't judge me, but 2010 is when I graduated high school. So that's over 10 years ago, and still working on my bachelor's right now. So I graduated from, like I said, Little Priest at 2014. But before that, I had no, passion, or I didn't even have, I didn't think I could go to a college. I feel like I was dumb and not, able to do that. And especially UNL, I just kind of see it as this high mighty college where I was I can never go there. I'm not smart enough, but went to Little Priest and then wanted to advance my education and tried UNL. So I went down there and moved for about 2 years down there. And man, it's just one of the challenging times because it is a white predominant college. You will experience some institutional racism. Your teachers will be ignorant, and you'll feel kind of isolated and alone there. They do have a Native American group called Unite. If it wasn't for Unite, I would not have survived as long as I did down there. They created some, family and culture and recognition, and just, really bonded with them and had some great times with them. But, I look back on that experience. I'm just I I really applaud those that go to these big universities like that, because it's challenging. Like Alexa said before, you get a sense of imposter syndrome, and that's kind of what I was when I was done. I was like, I don't belong here. This is not for me, and it's not for me. But that's where that institutional racism comes into play. They weren't valuing me as a Indigenous person and who I was, and so having that top of, like, because at one point it had me questioning my identity too as a Native person, and when I had those thoughts, like, that ain't good on top of like your responsibilities as a student, as an adult, and then you're questioning your identity. Like, that's a whole lot. So I really applaud for like I said, indigenous people that go to UNL, because it takes a lot, not only academically, but with that predominant white college, it's a whole lot. And Alex, I don't know if you wanted to hop in on that at all.
I would say, like, I wanted to go to a big university, and because we went on tours down in here in Oklahoma to like OSU and OU, and it's just like, those are big sporting schools, and so like they have hundreds of thousands of students who come in each year, and I was like, oh, this is really where I want to go. And then whenever it came down to it, those classes would have had hundreds of students in it, and I would have never got to have like a one-on-one relationship with my professor, unless I was like a teacher's pet or whatnot. But I mean, I was too shy to do that, and so I think that me choosing the school that I chose was perfect for me, because it allowed me to excel in all my studies, build those relationships with teachers and professors, and be able to go to them if I was struggling, and them to not have hundreds of other students to worry about, but to also like be able to engage with me was very beneficial. And at times I did wish I would have went to a bigger university for more opportunities. Ultimately, I would say it worked out for me, and that may not always be the case. And so sometimes you have to outweigh the pros and cons to certain situations, and be able to network and figure out what you want to do and how you want to do that. You can always transfer out and go to a different university if you don't like the one that you're at. And one of the things that you have to keep in mind, though, is that some of those credits that you did take at that one university won't transfer over to the next, and you may have to retake those classes. But just know that you're not stuck. Like, you can leave if you want to, and you don't have to stay somewhere where you're unhappy.
Right. Anything to add to that?
Well, for me, we had the opportunity to go on college tours. So, like, after we went to UNO, UNL, and Bryan College of Health Sciences, and some more, but I don't remember. I got accepted into UNO, UNL, and another one. But when we went to that Bryan College, I like how it was like hands-on, and I really wanted to go there. And when I was talking with them, they said to go to a community college because it'd be cheaper to go. So they suggested a couple colleges, and Southeast has, they have me as an academic transfer, so they'll transfer all my credits over to Bryan whenever I'm done with my generals. So.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, okay. That's a good conversation. Appreciate that. So that'll be the end of the segment for the college students there. I appreciate each of you for sharing and being vulnerable for some of these questions. We are going to go into our brief break here. We are going to play a brief commercial for one of our sponsors for this amazing podcast. If it wasn't for them, this initiative and programming wouldn't happen. So we will be back here shortly, and we will be with the high school students to talk about their perspectives.
Morningstar Counseling is a Native and woman-owned mental health organization that was established in 2012. Morningstar Counseling incorporates cultural values and practices through prevention, outreach, psychoeducation, and training, and serves individuals and families across the lifespan. All
right, welcome back. We are going to get ready to go into our next section. But just want to remind our viewers and listeners of our sponsors. Thank you to them for making this possible, this amazing podcast here and this opportunity for our youth. So we will go into the next segment where we are focusing on the high school and their perspective with their mental health and academics. So with our college students, go ahead and feel free to take away the questions here for our high schoolers. And if you want to go off script too, if there's questions that are not on our list and you want to ask the high schoolers, go ahead and ask that. And let's go ahead and start. So Charles, do you want to start us off with the first question?
Yeah, sure. So where do you two go to high school?
Omaha Nation.
Also Omaha Nation.
Okay.
And then Lupe, you want the next question there?
What year are you guys in high school?
I'm a junior, so 11th grade.
I am also a junior in 11th grade.
Nice. Okay. And then Alexis, do you want to ask the third question there?
Yeah. What are your plans after high school?
I would like to go to college, but if I don't get into my top 5 colleges, I like to enlist in the Army.
So I also do want to go to college. I do already have my top 5 colleges picked out that I really want to get into. And even if those don't work out, I still have like a backup colleges for the backup.
Cool. Okay.
Did you want us to say our colleges, like which top 5 are?
You know, go yeah. If you feel comfortable, go ahead and share those if you like.
You say yours first. You already got something yours. I'm talking to yours already.
I know. So the top 5 I really want to get into are Harvard, Yale. I always have trouble pronouncing this name, but Dartmouth.
Dartmouth.
Oh, Dartmouth.
ASU and the University of Oregon.
My top 5 are USF, University of Sioux Falls, UNO, University of Minnesota, University of Oregon, and I know my expectations are high for this next college, but it's Yale, and sophomore year took really toll on me, so I don't know.
No, don't knock yourself. You know, you never know. I love that you guys are shooting high. That's awesome. You know,
exactly.
I wish, you know, when someone would encourage me, you know, as younger, like I thought, so in my mind when I was little, like I said, University of, or UNL, I thought that was like my Harvard. Like I couldn't get to that, you know, and I went and didn't like it. But, you know, so yeah, I love that you're shooting high, and that's good. I encourage you to keep aiming for the stars. Okay. So we'll take turns on this then. So Lupe, we'll start with you, and then Charles, and then Alexis. So Lupe, if you want to start us with the next question here after the plans after high school.
What are your future career goals?
So I want you to think about this question, like not more of like, okay, what are your future goals like after high school, but what does your future career look like for you? Like your idea, if like everything worked out and you wanted to do it and it happened, what does that career look like for you?
For me, I would say a business plan. I am currently working on a business plan to open up my own little cafe or restaurant. I have had interest in culinary arts ever since I was little, so I've been learning up on culinary arts, and I've been learning up on businessing and entrepreneurship. I've been trying to take classes for business finances. So I guess for my career, my future career goals is to be working in the business program and culinary arts.
Nice. Okay.
I have not yet thought that far into life yet, so I just want to get past high school and college, if not the military, and see which path I go on from there.
Okay. Yeah, just come back to that conversation where it's like I feel like we put an unrealistic expectation on you to have your life planned out, you know, and that's good that you have an idea, and it's okay that you might not have an idea, you know. That's kind of how I was too out of high school, so glad to have those perspectives there. We can go to the next question then.
Oh, sorry, that was
You're
like
fine.
space now. Do any of you guys participate in any sports, clubs, and if so, which ones?
I don't want to sound full of myself because there's a lot. I'm in I'm in cheerleading. I do track. I was a volleyball manager. I'm in quiz bowl, hand game. I'm on student council, and I also volunteer to help with like little kids and work after school.
Nice.
So I actually don't do any type of sports. I'm gonna just say that I'm always interested in just like, you know, playing it for like a pastime, basketball, volleyball, but I'm not like actually interested in, you know, playing in actual games. But I am a part of the student council. I'm a part of speech, quiz bowl. I'm a part of the hand game team. I'm actually the head captain for the UNPS hand game team. And I feel like there's one more. Oh, and I'm a part of JAG, a club/class in our school.
Yeah, I forgot to put those two, speech and the JAG program. I'm supposed to be getting back into that again.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a lot of extracurricular activities, but that's awesome that you guys are involved and very good. And that's really gonna look good on your college resumes too, or college applications too. So keep that in mind.
That's what I'm expecting. That's what I'm expecting.
That's all my mind goes on.
Okay, we can go to the next question then.
What challenges do you face in college?
Oh, in high school. Sorry, these are supposed to be worded in high school. I didn't finish those. I am sorry.
About that. I'm like, I'm not in college yet.
Well, we aimed it that way because we know you're gonna go to college. No, I'm just kidding. So in a way, in this sense, like, what are some of the challenges? Yeah, like you face in high school.
A lot of people like look like they know me, so I have a lot of friends, and also people like there's people that don't like me. So probably that, and like the negative comments towards me for being a male cheerleader. That's about it. But like I don't let that usually get to me.
Thanks for sharing that.
Challenges I have in high school. Of right now, I'm just gonna say math. I'm not very particular like in math. Like, I mean, like the subject doesn't like me. I'm gonna just say that because I can't wrap my mind around a lot of it. So, but any other that probably just a little bit of my social interactions. I do know a lot of kids. I do know like who they are, but me as a kind of like introverted, I'm just like, I don't really want to talk to you. I don't think I have anything, you know, in common with you. So I think just my social interactions is one of the biggest challenges I'm facing right now.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And I think when we say challenges, you know, I love that both of you came from a different view from it. Like part of it is social, and then part of it is academics too. You know, so it's good to see what those challenges look like, and you know, those can really have a impact on our mental health as well. Okay, Lupe, you can take the next question there. Instead of college, replace it with high school.
How's your guys' mental health been in high school so far?
Like a roller coaster. My freshman year, I just transferred back to Omaha Nation because I used to go to South Sioux Cardinal, but it wasn't that bad because I still had friends from my old school, and I was like glad to see them. And then it went like downhill towards sophomore year because that's where they was putting all this work on me, but like it opened so much more opportunities to do stuff, and that's when I started doing sports, and I wasn't used to it, so it's like I did so many things at once that I didn't have time for, and I kind of just did it just to do it, and so I was mentally drained. But now I know how to manage my time and everything.
Nice. Okay.
So for me in freshman year, I'm not gonna lie, I did stress and struggle a lot with high school because that was when we came back from a pandemic. Or for me, I came back from a pandemic. I not really skipped, but I was kind of homeschooled for 8th grade, and I didn't go back during 8th grade. So it was just like a whole 2 years off from school. And that's when a little bit of my social anxiety began. Like I was thinking, oh my God, I knew these people in my class for years, but I skipped 2 years. So what are they going to think of me? Like, what is going to what are they going to think of me? Are they going to remember me? Are they going to be somehow towards me because I skipped 2 years? Like, I just remember my social anxiety kind of was just off. It was like just blaring off, and I couldn't stop it. And I was just so anxious to always go to school because of this, because I was just like, it's my freshman year now. I'm in high school, and I was always told, once you get into high school, you're gonna have to have everything figured out. So I was also stressed about that, because I was like thinking, since I'm in high school, I only have like 3 years of school left, like, and I'm like, I have no idea what I want to do with my life now. So I just remember then in freshman year, I was just everywhere with my mental health. I actually didn't really like try to care for it. I was just trying to push it aside and just get through with everything. And that kind of just came crashing down on me into my next year of high school, which then I managed to figure out for myself what I wanted to do. That's when I decided I'm going to take things slow. Even if I don't figure it out by the end of high school, I must still be somewhere after high school if I graduate. So, and now I'm pretty sure I'm down with what I want to do. But I do now have my mental health figured out, and I'm happy that I took that time to figure what is going to work for me and what isn't.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. That's a whole lot, and thanks for being vulnerable. You know, it's tough, and like I said, I come back to that conversation of having those unrealistic expectations for our young natives. You know, and that's unfortunate you went through that. You know, but I really love that you value your mental health and have an understanding of that too, and also just kind of come back to us being as Indigenous people, like, you know, they call it a bachelor's, a 4-year degree, and they expect you to get that done in 4 years. You know, look at me, I'm, 31, still working on my bachelor's, but that's not stopping me, and I plan to go for all the way to my PhD. So, and life is different for us as Indigenous people. Like, we have different challenges in our communities. They have, there's some trauma there that our families are trying to heal from. And so the typical, go to college journey is different for us. The typical after life of college, what's that look like? That's different for us, and so keep those things in mind. As long as like you know where you want to go and you're comfortable with yourself, you know what I mean? You could, take 10 years to do your bachelor's degree if you want, or whatever. Just I feel like sometimes we have these own journeys for ourselves, like, okay, I have to be this, or this is how I measure success, and this is where I need to be. But it's different for everybody. Everybody's journey is different,
Yeah, I relate to that like so much as a college student, where it's like kind of putting all this pressure on yourself about like doing all this stuff. And like even though like I'm not doing the best academically, it's all this pressure that I put on myself that like sometimes I get like scared of like letting everyone down, when all it is just like I think everyone just have all these high expectations about about like what I'm doing, since no one in my family really is going to college except like me and my big brother. So yeah, it was just like I think a couple of weeks ago I was going through a lot, and it was the first time I kind of broke down in out of fear. Like whenever I'm scared, I never I usually never cry when I'm scared, but like that's the first time in so long. I don't even know, probably since I was like a little kid. And I was just like, I just had that fear of just coming home, winter break, and like saying that like I couldn't really cut it and stuff like that. And it's just, that's like embarrassing to me, So it was just, I don't know. When I heard that, I was like, it kind of resonated with me a lot.
Yeah, and we really have to be kind to ourselves too. The way I think about it, like with everything that our guests, all of us here, everything that we're doing now, you're carving the way for future generations. You're breaking historic trauma and intergenerational trauma and these bad habits and circles. And, when we're treading into new lands and new worlds, like we're traveling to the unknown. So it's unknown to us. So it's fearful because we don't know where we're going to go, what it looks like, how it's going to be. And especially with, the natives that are working towards making a better future for our relatives and our communities and our tribes. Like, work is already put against us, because we're the minorities of minorities, there's not a lot of us there. And so when we do go out there and explore, we're that little pocket of people that are trying to make a difference only out in the non-native world, but even in our native world, people kind of get mad at us too, where, well, you think you're better than me, you think you're educated, and you have all these hot, this house and this car, and you're just like the white man. And so it's like sometimes we're pitted against the non-natives and their own people sometimes, so that can get challenging at times too. But just remember that when we're making a difference and trying to work towards that positivity, this is what it's going to be like sometimes, and that's where managing your mental health, when you get stressed and feeling overwhelmed, what do you do to manage that, counseling or your coping skills. So keep in mind, like, you're making waves, but there's going to be those things that we have to deal with our own people, and then like the non-native world too.
Yep.
Okay. We can go to the next question there. And is that who's next? I lost count. I'm sorry. Or lost track.
Yeah, me too.
I think it might be Alexis.
Oh, okay. Alexis, I think you're up.
I'm up? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's G.
Okay. It's G.
Oh, wait.
How has your
Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. It's H. My bad. Sorry, Alexis.
I was like, wait a minute.
We just did that.
Yeah, we're good. What do you do for yourself for self-care in high school?
What I did is I took time off for myself. I was always told that like I wouldn't be able to manage my time after all the stuff I took. And so what I did after my sophomore year ended, during summer I just like stopped doing anything. Like I didn't do any work. I did apply for youth council though, so like it's something for me to do instead of just being home all day and not doing anything. Then now like I just take my time on stuff like school. That's I prioritize over that. And then cheer, and then I do like sometimes I'm a volleyball manager, and that was like cheer before volleyball, and then now I'm just in cheer, student council, and all this other stuff. But cheer is like my main prioritization.
Main focus, okay.
Yeah.
So for my self-care, I'm not gonna lie, my family has and does travel a lot of places. For powwow, for round dances, for doings, for social dances. And that's one thing that I took in as my self-care, because being surrounded by a community, like not just the Omaha tribe, but like being surrounded by my relatives from Santee, friends and family from Santee, friends and family from everywhere that are Indigenous, that are Native. Being surrounded by that culture is just like something that's kind of that nurtures, like soothes me. I always love going to doings around in Macy, doings around here. I think I also do hanging does help me with my self-care, with my mental health. I always see hanging as just a fun thing to do, especially with getting to know people. I know I've been over to Santee a lot. I've seen Lupe a lot at round dances, and she sees me a lot at round dances. And I just say that being a part of our culture, just being a part of a community really soothes me a lot, especially with my mental health. Not to mention listening to just like round dance music, powwow music, dancing at powwow, singing at powwow, singing round dance songs, hand drum songs also help with my self-care.
Yeah, I love that, being involving culture into our mental health there. And for our viewers, you can go back to one of our episodes for connecting culture with mental health, and that was one of the things that we talked about, how it's kind of been there's a study that shows the practicing our culture and our cultural identity helps with our mental health, and there's a connection there too. So, and what you're talking about, that was like some of our conversations we had too. But Dallas, with you too, like just kind of deciding that boundary for yourself. We're like, okay, I'm not gonna do no more because this is time for me. So that's healthy too. Setting that. Those are different ways to do that. So I'm glad that you guys are practicing that. We can go to the next question.
And who's asking?
That would be Lupe. I.
What healthy ways did you practice to cope with stress?
Because that was kind of a similar question. Let's move to Jay. My bad.
Jay,
Yeah.
how is it for you to balance sports, work, and homework?
Usually we have sports like as soon as school ends. So but for cheerleading is not really like a sport. It's like right after school. So like I have a 2-hour break for like homework and work, and then cheerleading's like an hour and a half, maybe 2. So then after that, I just like, if I can't do one thing, then I just cancel my plans and not do anything.
Yeah.
So I kind of take priority in my schoolwork more than a lot of things, and being a lot like with being with social. Oh my God, being with extracurriculars does kind of like stall me from actually getting to my homework, especially if the extracurriculars I am in, I really enjoy it and always do want to be a part of. It does like keep me away from my actual schoolwork. I'm not gonna lie, but I do actually manage my time wisely, especially if I have 2 practices in one day. There's always going to be a break within that, so I do use that time to do my homework, or if we're waiting on people before practice, I do also take that time to do my homework. Any schoolwork I need to catch up on. So
okay, my and this question will lead into the next item here. My question to both of you is like, how did you learn? What I'm getting from both your feedback here is time management and discipline. Where do you think you learned that skill, or how did you hone that skill? Where did that come from?
I think it was like I just taught myself how to do it. My mom never told me like time management. Same with my dad. My grandma, she talked about it a little bit. She was like, just make time for yourself and let yourself cool down. But other than that, it was just me. Like I had to learn the hard way. I had like I broke down once, like, because how much time I didn't have for myself, and I just felt like I was super stressed out. So that next year I was like, I need time for myself, and just for me.
Okay.
So for me, I must say I take a lot of inspiration from my dad. So I always watch what my dad does. I always see how my dad is, and I always take that into consideration for myself and what I need to do to better myself and be like him, because my dad's one of my main inspirations. So I guess I kind of learned time management from him.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, yeah, I'm just curious because I know that's something I really think because I teach twice a week in the Winnebago Public School, and I interact with a different variety of students, from the high school, and I see some students that struggle with that, with having that time management aspect. I'm just trying to figure out creative ways for them to start practicing that and understand how important that is, because I think as an adult, that's something we definitely need to know and understand to be successful and accomplish our goals. Okay, we can move to the next question, and that'll be Charles. So we'll move to
K.
I. We'll go to I, because K is kind of... Yeah, just go to I.
Didn't we just ask what I was?
L?
Like I was the same question as H. That's why we skipped over that.
I think you're doing L. If
Yeah.
that's the same thing.
L, sorry. Yes, that is L. That is not I.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah. It's fine.
I don't know my ABCs. Nah.
Yeah. No, but what do you think a person needs to be successful in high school?
I'd say like time management. Time management is the top thing. Like you need to have time for yourself. You need to have time for school. If you're doing extracurriculars, you need time for that too. But I say prioritize school over everything though. Like anything. So I say school, like yeah, friends, but they probably will help you in the long run, but like then again you got yourself, so you need to prioritize school.
Okay.
I kind of agree with Dallas with the time management, but I also think that support is also one of the things that people need to be successful with. Because if you don't have a motivation source, if you don't have anyone motivating you, then like you won't feel any motivation at all to keep going forward. I also believe in the people that you surround yourself with will also help you be successful, because the people you surround yourself with will be there for you. You can surround yourself with good people that will be there, support you, motivate you. Like Dallas is one of my biggest motivators. I'm not gonna lie. He always tells me to go for it. Like, even I'm also a big motivator for him. And we just like console each other with questions like, should we really do this? Should we really like go forward with this? And sometimes we just talk it out, but other times we're just like go do it. You got this. Take that leap, take that risk. But I believe that time management and just basic support is one of the things that will get you through high school.
Okay. Yeah, that's I agree with that. I think those are some really important factors to being successful. And I think especially high school looks different compared to me to now, you know what I mean, with because I hate to sound old fashioned, but you know, back in high school we were just barely getting smartphones, so you know, Snapchat and all that thing didn't really exist. And
MySpace.
MySpace was what it was. I remember going home and we'd get up on a dial-up network and we would just be on a big desktop typing to each other, and then we'd set up our layout on Facebook and MySpace, have our songs playing on there. Shoot.
So about Tumblr.
Yeah, it was kind of form of Tumblr, but whole different time, different era. So,
oh my God.
and I sometimes I feel for the Native youth this day, because we didn't have. You gotta think about it, with smartphones and access to the World Wide Web. You all have more access to information, world events, and things than we did. So that's where a lot of that anxiety and a lot of that depression comes from, because you're more exposed to more information than we were, and so a lot of that can be overwhelming, and it can make you think different things, and just kind of affect your mental health. So that's one thing that is different now, is just the access to information.
Yeah.
Okay, we can go to the next item, which is, just want to be sure we're on the right. Yep. Yep, that's right. And Alexis, I think this is your question. Can you hear us, Alexis?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you see yourself contributing to your community?
I don't want to sound conceited, because but there's like a lot of people, like I have a lot of friends, and my brothers and sisters have they have a lot of friends too, so they all know me, and they look like, sometimes I'm like a role model for them, to just be you. You don't gotta sit there and think about other people's opinion. And I work with little kids. I help them with homework and youth council. That's a big thing for the community too. So there's that.
Okay.
So same, not really same here with Dallas, but with youth council. I mainly joined youth council because I wanted to be a voice for Native, not only Omaha, the Omaha youth, but also a lot of Native voices that aren't heard. And being on the youth council of the Omaha tribe has really shown me that there are actually a lot of youth out there that don't think they have a voice, that don't think they have a say in things, and that don't think they have a right because they're Indigenous. And I'm just that's something that shouldn't be in their minds already. We have to promote that, hey, just because you're Indigenous, that doesn't mean you don't have a right. You have every single right as another average person does. And I don't want to seem like I'm bragging, but another thing I think I'm contributing back to the community is within the past 2 months, maybe 2 months, I was awarded with the 20 Under 20 Nebraska Award.
Wow, yes, I read about that. That was you, huh? Nice, congratulations on that.
I'm not gonna lie, I am kind of upset because I was and am the first ever Indigenous youth to ever receive it. And I was just super happy about it, but I was kind of upset because I know there's so many voices out here in Nebraska, so many Indigenous youth out here that could have received that award before me, that could have even received it with me. But people sometimes don't take those chances, or people don't promote that to them. And I'm just we need to be better about that. We need to know that Indigenous youth do have a say in things. Like you have a right to speak your mind. You have a right to go out there and get every single chance that you want, as the same as the other.
Yeah. Wow. That's I'm speechless over here. It's amazing, and I love that what you're getting at is advocacy. And letting people know that that's a possibility, and it's real. And thanks for sharing that. And I really hope you keep pushing that. Making it happen. And I really love that. And I agree with you. There's so much work that needs to be done. And just to know that you're the first Indigenous student to get that is shocking. For how long do you know how long that's been around?
Actually, I'm not sure, but I know that over like 10,000 of Nebraska youth applied for it. So it is like a big thing. And I actually have no clue how long it's been around for yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to be the first, though, I think that says words. Says loud message there. So yes, encourage our youth to take those chances, those opportunities. And I think another part that comes with that is and I think Charles, you kind of share a little bit on this too, but the idea of fear, like we fear to fail. We associate failure with being bad, but I think we need to reframe our mind when we think about failure. Is it really failure if we're learning from something, learning from our mistakes? We take our situation that maybe, we didn't win a game, or we didn't win this award, or we didn't do this situation. Don't take it as a failure, but what can you do better next time to maybe overcome, that. So just look at failure as like something that can build us and make us stronger for the future. And I think sometimes we get scared, like, well, I don't want to fail and look like a clown or someone that messed up. But it's like, you don't understand how much famous people these days, they made so many mistakes, and that's where they're at now.
I feel like there's always some sort of like healthy fear and everything. Where like people like probably work better under like some kind of like fear, because I mean that like that drives them to be more successful in what they're doing. But it's like, yes, I was just overwhelmed that time, and it's just I feel like I needed it in a way of just like releasing all of that, like just pressure. And
I want to validate you too. There's nothing wrong with feeling that fear. You know what I mean? I think you just said it too. There's a healthy fear, but there's a fear that controls our lives too, and where it might limit us on those opportunities, and we don't want to try different things, But that's where our growth comes in. When we're feeling comfortable or fear, that's where we're growing.
Yeah, that's where people like kind of stop themselves, and they're quiet about their voices and everything. Like they don't want to fail, they don't want to embarrass themselves. That's where like mostly her, but me and her, like we like she's like a voice for people who like complain and like are like we're quiet about it though. So she speaks out about it, and like I'm the one that like talks to like the principals, or like she talks to the chairman and the tribe. And I talk like for school, like I talk to the principals, I talk to the teachers about it, because people like I think it's just like a lesson like what people are scared to do.
Right.
And I'm not gonna lie that a lot of Native youth are actually kind of scared of hard work, because I know that when we want to go college, when we want to do all these big things, we have to work 2 times harder than the average person just to accomplish the same thing. And I know it like even for me, it struck me as a fear, because I was just thinking, do I really have to work that hard to achieve something that not really normal, but an average white person can achieve with less than the work? So I remember that was also one of the main fears installed inside me, thinking, do I really want to go college now just to like do that, just to put up with a lot of things? But now I'm just thinking, I do want to go to college, even if that means I have to work 2 times harder, 3 times harder than the average person. But I'm gonna still push through it, because I do believe in change.
Yeah, you both are doing amazing work, and this is the kind of conversations I love and enjoy when we have guests as you all here, and this is the part we need to hear from our youth, and one thing that comes to mind, both of you sharing the things you're sharing, is that in the mental health world, we kind of sometimes focus a lot on trauma, intergenerational trauma, and like, our people as Indigenous people, they had a bad history where, a lot of people were killed out or treated unfortunately, but we're still here. I think we focus on like all the bad things that happened to us, but someone kind of told me like, reframe your thinking and like think about the resiliency of our people. We got treated so badly. There was genocide. They tried to wipe us out. We weren't considered human beings. Like, 100 years ago, like we were barely considered like humans as indigenous people. But let's focus on that resiliency, what our ancestors pushed through, what they went through, but we're still here because of our ancestors, And so like, that's something we definitely need to focus on, is like that strength, not that hurt. Yeah, that's there. I'm not saying ignore that, that's a part of it. But we also have that resiliency and that strength that our people pushed on, and that's in us too, Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I get passionate about this and I keep going too, and I'm just like, this ain't my show. This is the youth show.
It's fine.
It's all right.
Okay, so the next item we have is, I think that's you, Lupe, in after in.
Who are some people who encourage you or support you?
So, like I said, my dad is one of my biggest inspirations. I always strive my best to be like him, and not only to mention my dad, but my mom as well. My mom is a part of the Dene Nation, and that's where I get my Dene side from. But she also works in mental health with down there in New Mexico. She works with mental health. She works with people that have that suffer through drug abuse, alcohol abuse. And I really want to strive and be like them. But for my younger siblings and any other youth across our nation, because we're basically kind of like all related. We're all either cousins or something like that. But I also want to be a big role model for them. I want to be someone that they can look up to, someone that they can come to if they're struggling, someone that could help them make right choices or help them think of what they want to do. I always had a dream of being a voice for Native youth. So that kind of answers my question, the question I might have.
For me, probably my dad and like Taya and all my other friends. There's probably like more people that like I just didn't hear from yet, because I always hear from my mom. Like people are like telling me, and my mom's a quiet person. Like it seems like she's not encouraging me, but like she is. Like it's kind of, she shows it a little bit. But like
in her own way,
But other than that, I'd say like just myself, because people usually don't like show it, probably because my family's like a really quiet family, like no one really hears from them. But yeah, I say like me, like my mindset, like I have to get it done.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, awesome. Okay, and we have the next question here.
What are some words of wisdom or encouragement for future Native students interested, or how do I even word that? Because interested in going into high school.
Okay, so this is more.
I mean, you kind of have no choice but to go to high school.
Well, let's gear it to our even younger relatives. So think about our relatives that are in middle school, because even like you said, when you was in 8th grade and going through your experiences, and then the expectations you had going into high school. So thinking in your role now as juniors in high school, what are some words that you can give to our younger relatives that are in middle school? Like, they're going to be transitioning, they're going through, even puberty and these different changes. What are some words of wisdom and encouragement that you would give your younger relatives to be successful in high school?
Get to class. Be there on time. Ignore people that want to bring you down. Have time for yourself. Don't overwork yourself.
Okay.
Same here. Get to class. Go school. Go get an education that people assume that you don't like. You're not gonna get. Because I know like white man expectations of education is extremely big, and I know that a lot of even indigenous people try to bring it down on Native youth. But go get your education, even if it's just in high school. Right now, you're just joining high school, and that's it. You still have more things beyond high school that you can think about. You can start thinking about college when you want to, but right now, just kind of live it. Live your years out of high school. Make the best of it. Make sure you're always passing your classes, and don't forget to love yourself. loving yourself is one of the most hardest things a person can do. And I know that from experience from myself. And loving yourself and surrounding yourself with good people is one of the biggest things in high school that will get you far, even if you don't think it will.
I heard this last year from a senior from my old school. She said, don't have can't in your dictionary. You can do it. You just don't think you can. You can do it, though.
Nice. I love that. Ooh, you guys are overwhelming me over here. I'm like, these guys, you better watch out for these two. They're gonna change the world.
That's my plan. Change it and conquer the world.
Love it. Just kidding. All right. Well, I want to open this opportunity up for our college students here. Just kind of reflecting on your own experiences and our guest experiences here too. Is there any questions that you want to ask our two high school students here that maybe wasn't on the list, or something that kind of triggered your mind, or something you wanted to definitely get to know from them?
Not really. I feel like all of it kind of like, yeah.
Give you an idea, okay?
Yeah.
And yeah, don't feel forced if there's nothing. That's fine. I think we covered a lot of good information. Alexis, want to cover with you? Are you good with any questions at all?
I would just kind of ask, like, what obstacles do you think helped prepare you for high school or to continue, or like what barriers you had that you overcome to be where you're at mentally?
So for me, one of the main barriers I went through high school with was just how shy I was, how much I had social anxiety, like how I didn't really want to interact with anyone. And what helped me overcome that was because of the JAG program and the garden that we have down at Omaha Nation, our community school garden. Working down there, that was my first job, and working down there, I got to experience a lot of social emotions and everything. Like, it was kind of overwhelming at first, but knowing and getting to know students I've been with for years was nice. Knowing that a lot of the kids then actually did have had, what is that called? Knowing that they had dang it just left my mind too. My bad. But we had connections anyway. Knowing that we had connections in something, that we really liked something, was nice. Knowing that what my mind was telling me, like, hey, you guys don't have anything, you guys have nothing in common, was wrong. Proving that was wrong was a nice feeling. And that helped me a lot, because now I'm going to say I'm more social, I'm more outgoing, I'm more open to making new friends from here and from anywhere. And with that, I'm going to say that this past summer, I was able to experience Washington, D.C. with the Macky Youth Council for the first time. I've never been to Washington, D.C., and I've never been to this conference called Unity, but it was big. It was massive, and I'm not going to lie, I was like super nervous about it. But seeing all these natives together, seeing how much I actually was able to interact with a lot of people, I got to make new friends. I got to experience what it's like in different cultures. I got to even meet I even got to meet other councils, and I got to make relationships with them. And I brought that back here, and now I know that these other schools, these other councils that were there know about us. They know about the Omaha tribe. They know about hardships that we went through. They know about the youth council. It just felt amazing. So I'd just like to say that my social anxieties now wear it off. I'm more active to wanting to, just get out there and take those risks no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's remarkable that you're able to go out there and connect with all these other people from all over the country. I'm glad that you got to experience that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Can you repeat the question? My mind's not blank. I was spacing off.
What barriers do you think you had to overcome to help with your mental anguish, I'd say?
Mine wasn't similar to her, but kind of, not really. My mindset was just like talk to people, like make as many friends and talk to your teachers. That's about it. Just like make friends, because they will be your support in the long run. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Okay, that's awesome. Great conversations. That is the end of our section with our high school and their perspective with mental health. We are going to go to a short break real quick for another shout out to one of our sponsors here for making this podcast possible. We will go into the short commercial, and then we'll come back and finish the rest of our show, and then just film more updates. And yeah, see you here shortly.
The Society of Care is a leading trauma resource for self-identified Native American youth and their families throughout Nebraska. We care for our relatives by providing accessible, affordable, and culturally sensitive behavioral care. As passionate advocates, we give Native youth a voice, connect them to services, provide wellness education, instill cultural pride, and empower them to build resilience. We believe in a brighter future for our relatives and are guided by caring deeply, transforming lives, and healing communities.
All right, welcome back, listeners and viewers. We are coming to a close with our show. Just a few more items before we close out for today's episode. Really great conversations and contribution to discussion. So one initiative that we always like to share with our communities and our listeners and viewers is an initiative that we started this year, or last year actually, and it's the psychoeducation flyers. We have psychoeducation flyers that go out twice a month, so one on the 1st and one on the 15th, and so we always make it an effort to share those on our podcast here. Previously we've read the information to you, but we figured you can read that on your own time if you want. You can find these flyers on our Morningstar counseling page here. So like I said, this is open to anybody. It just has some facts and statistics on different topics for that month. And the two psychoeducation flyers we're going to focus on is connecting culture with mental health, and then also connecting cultural practices with the mind. And so if you're interested in receiving these, if you're interested in postings on your school's website, on your organization's website or your page, go ahead and just contact us and we can forward those to you free of charge. This is just one of our initiatives that we try to work with our communities that we serve to educate them more on different mental health topics. And so, like I said, just gives some more information on the topic, resources and statistics and things like that too. And so our second flyer here, we are going to talk about the mind with mental health. So like I said, this is just another topic we're covering, and we send those out twice a month, the 1st and the 15th. And so if you're interested, go ahead and contact us. We'll send those to you via email, and you can post those up in your schools, in your home, your work site, or on your website. And just another reference and tool for our communities to use. And just another reminder for our viewers to kind of give them an idea of our future release date and schedule for our show. We previously had the show being released on the last Monday of each month at 12 p.m. on the Big Voice Radio Facebook page. We are shifting our programming schedule to the first Monday of each month. So keep that in mind. It won't no longer be the last Monday, but the first Monday at 12 p.m. At the Big Voice Radio Facebook page there. And another interesting component we're going to add, after each episode, we're going to do a live drawing for prizes for those that have shared and liked our flyer for the episode here. So stay tuned after this video, and we will be doing the drawing live, and we'll see if you're a winner. And we've got some amazing prizes for that. And moving on to upcoming events and activities, we do have some groups that we want to make aware of, and just also kind of update on where you can find more information on future activities. We have a Weatonga update here, and I have Shailece. She will explain a little bit more about that.
The Wihei Tanga is a peer support for the students who may need a big sister or just any extra support or help in anything, whether it's your hobbies, your anything related to school, helping you find local jobs, helping you learn and save and budget, helping you apply for scholarships, FAFSA, things like that. Just being that support for you in any healthy way that you may need. And this is offered throughout the 2023-2024 school year. And if you're interested, you can email me at Shailece@morningstar-counseling.com. I come to the Omaha Nation schools on Tuesday during the high school lunch hour in Sherry Schoenfelder's office. And then I attend the Watt Hill Public Schools on Thursdays during their high school lunch hour in Mrs. Bastion's office. So if this is something you're interested in, you can reach out to me through my email, via Facebook, whatever works best for you. I'm here to help support you in a healthy, positive way, and in anything that you need support in. I will do my best to help you, and I know there's others who are willing to be a Wihei Tanga for you too.
Great. Thanks for that. So that's just one of the programmings that we offer through Morningstar Counseling in partnership with Society of Care. And just want to make our viewers and listeners aware of the outlets that we put the information out on. So we do use a lot of our social media on Facebook. So for example, we will show the Facebook page for Society of Care, and this is where you can find updates and information on upcoming events and activities and initiatives there. And we do have several Facebook pages that pertain to the region area for that service. But Society of Care, this is the general one, the overview of all. You can come here and just find different updates and things like that. So go ahead and check in with that on a regular basis. We will have our flyer posted on Society of Care, and you would need to share the original flyer to be entered into the drawing that we will have at the end of this episode here. Just a reminder there. And then next, we are bringing up another subgroup of the Society of Care Facebook page. So this is the Northeast region here. So if remind me again, Shailece, what region or what communities does this cover?
This covers the Watt Hill and Macy area, and the Macy and Watt Hill area.
So for our Watt Hill and Macy communities, this is the Facebook page that pertains to your area there. So like I said, the overarching Society of Care just has basic updates for all, but this is the area where you would go for Macy and Watt Hill, so the Northeast there. And it posts pretty active, and they're pretty active on there too. So there's another resource where we put out the information there. And then next is the Santee Society of Care. So this is for the Santee community there. This is where they put the information and notices up for upcoming activities and events there as well. So just become familiar with these three pages here for more information for future events and activities. We have some great things planned coming up. And then finally, we have the Morningstar Counseling page here. We are a proud partner with Society of Care, and they are an amazing sponsor for this amazing podcast here. So we also post different activities that we're doing through Morningstar, and just the different workshops and trainings that we have. And also our psychoeducation flyers will be posted here as well if you're interested to find those there. And we have more information on our services. We do provide in-person counseling and virtual counseling. We do one-on-one, we do family counseling, children counseling, relationship counseling. So those are different areas we focus on. We have a really high diverse group. We have some doctoral interns that come in, and they're really educated on those areas. And we do have some extensive training that our providers go through so that they are culturally relevant and knowledgeable of our communities and their practices and things like that. And so those are our activities and ways to know what's coming up. Next, we always like to end with a coping skill or mental health tip for our guests and all our viewers. We are going to practice a technique and it has different names, but a technique called box breathing or deep breathing. And so we are going to follow this video here. And before we start, I want all of our guests here. So we're gonna have our guests actually participate. I won't participate just because I'll have to facilitate and lead. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and get a comfortable position in your chair. You wanna get grounded, so go ahead and place both of your feet on the ground, get comfortable, sit there and just kind of relax yourself. And we want you to close your eyes, and you're going to focus on your breathing with this exercise. And the whole focus of this exercise is to help reduce any kind of stress or anxiety in a moment. So when you're feeling anxious or those types of emotions, think about this coping skill here. And this skill actually has been used by Navy SEALs too out in the field. So this is evidence-based and research-based as well. But what we're going to do is I'm going to have you inhale for 4 seconds. So I'll count to 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll inhale, and then you're going to hold for 4 seconds. I know it sounds like a long time, but hold that inhale, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you release. But when you release, you do that for 4 seconds. So you're breathing out 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you hold 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you breathe in, hold, and then you breathe out. So it's 4 by 4. Does everybody get how to do that? Okay. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and start. Or go ahead and close your eyes first. Let's get comfortable. And we're gonna start with inhaling. So we're gonna breathe in, and we'll start now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that is just kind of a brief sneak peek of box breathing or deep breathing. You would actually do that a little bit more longer than the session we just did, but you do that in 4s, and that's going to help you come to manage your anxiety, your stress, anything you're going through. Deep breathing. There's different forms of it too. That's not the only way you can do it. Some videos encourage you to do 5 seconds, some do 4, and then so like I said, we want to end with a coping skill and something you can put into your toolkit for future reference. And now that is the end of our show. We do have our conclusion. I just want to close with some words, shout outs, or any thoughts with our guests, and then that'll be the show for today. So anybody can take us off or take a lead. Just closing words, thoughts, or comments, or any shout outs.
Well, I'd like to thank you guys for inviting the Migai Nyanshinga Youth Council to be a part of this. And as their chairwoman, I'd like to just say thank you on behalf of all of us. This is an amazing experience. This helped me actually get a few things off my chest as well. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you guys for having me again for like the 3rd time and stuff. And I'm sure this won't be the last time I'll be on the show, but like shout out to my friends, shout out to Wisdom, my family, all that stuff. And yeah, just spread peace, love, positivity to like as much as you can, as much as you're able to. Don't waste your time not liking somebody and all that stuff. And there's no such thing in life that you cannot endure. So peace, Godspeed. Yeah.
Thank you. And then Alexis, do you have any closing words or comments or shout outs?
I wanted to say thank you guys for allowing me to come on here and speak and just say my piece and be able to help any of the high school students or anybody else who's planning on going to college. We could stay in touch. If you want, you can find me on social media and send me a message if you need it, have questions about anything else. I want to give a shout out to my family, my friends. Wouldn't be where I am without them. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much for having me.
Okay. Do you have any shout outs or?
I would like to say thank you to you guys for coming, to you, Alexis, for hopping on the Zoom call and, staying in touch and sharing your guys' stories and your experiences and all of that. And I think I would like to give a shout out to Alexis because she's a pretty big role model. If you know her background and know more, she's more than just a student athlete. She's an actor, she's a model. I think she could inspire a lot of our youth, and there's others like her that can do that. And she's just one of many that you guys can look up to. But yeah, and I just say shout out to Morningstar and Society of Care for allowing us to be on and to be able to bring youth in.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. My closing remarks, of course, are, thank you for coming. I know this is sometime you have to sacrifice, but I really enjoyed the conversations that each of you brought and your perspectives, and it really empowers me too as an older adult, Indigenous adult, that there's some individuals like you, each of you, doing life and going through it and making things happen, but you're also making a change, and you have that advocacy and that plan to better not just your tribe but just Indigenous people in general. So I really appreciate that, and that helps me and reminds me of that there's other people doing this really great work of change, and age doesn't limit you that or hinder you. That is great. It's just great to see you guys involved at the age you are too. I wish I was more involved at that age. So I'm proud of each of you for advocacy, going to school, and even just battling your traumas that you're healing from. So appreciate that. Want to give a shout out to, same with Morningstar Counseling, Dr. Warrior, and everything that they do. Appreciate that for making this possible. Also, shout out to Society of Care with Lisa and Greg for also making this possible too. Big shout out to Ben. He is an amazing person. He puts this video together. He helps us get the flyers out. He's a big part of it. So I appreciate the work that he does each time. Very, very cooperative and easy to work with, and a great team player. And also want to give a shout out to our behind the scenes person here, Bethany DJ Bessamy. She DJs with the Big Voice Radio, and occasionally I'm her co-host there. But I want to say thank you always for putting up with us, doing the stuff behind the scenes. We couldn't have this done without you, with all the buttons, the camera operating, and everything. So thanks for working with us and being flexible and always welcoming us into your studio here. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to our listeners and viewers. We appreciate you. We hope to continue this. As always, if you have Native youth that are interested and want to be involved, reach out to us. We want more youth to be involved and share their stories and experiences. But other than that, please be nice to each other. Take care of each other. We love y'all, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.